You're watching the National Broadcaster, and it is a beautiful Friday, a good weather right here in Kampala, where we're coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. My name is Sandra Kahunda, welcoming you for today's newscast, the 3rd of March 2023. Lots of activities for this Friday. That includes the release of the USC examinations, and what I quote there to note for those of you who could have missed out the proceedings. Honorable Muyingo there saying that girls have performed much better than the boys, and also encouraged the youth and the teachers to focus more and put more attention when it comes to biology, that is to do with sciences, and encouraged them to also look at other avenues, that including entrepreneurial skills away from studies in classroom. Welcome once again. Now straight into today's activities. The Inspectorate of Government has urged all public servants to declare their incomes and assets before the end of March. The third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, was officiating the official launch of leaders' incomes, assets and liability declaration in Lira. The details in this following report.
The leadership support system of declaration of income, assets and liability has been officially launched by 3rd Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama.
My name has come.
The move was initiated to ensure that the liability and assets of leaders are commensurate with their known sources of income. Under the theme Asset Declaration, a tool for accountability to the citizens, Lango Sub-Region was chosen as the host this year because of its low compliance in declaration of wealth by public servants in the country.
We are launching.
At the launch, Nakadama was the first to declare resources to government using the Inspectorate of Government online declaration system.
We are demonstrating our commitment to transparency and accountability, and we are sending a clear message that we have nothing to hide. We recognize that public office is a public trust, and we must be accountable to the people we serve.
Nakadama says the initiative will hold leaders accountable and transparent in a bid to fight corruption in the country.
Therefore, fighting corruption and promoting good public governance are among the main priorities of the government of Uganda. That when the roads are not good, our people are the ones to suffer. When the water is not there, of course they're the ones to suffer.
Public servants are by law required to declare their assets 3 months after appointment to the public service and after every 5 months during the month of April. This year's declaration period started on 1st and will run till March 31st, when the system will automatically close.
The reason we made the public event is because we wish to bring the Inspectorate of Government to the people and to make the Inspectorate of Government and its function relevant to the people. We also want to get the people on board, the taxpayers, to make them understand that they are the victims of corruption, and therefore they should have an interest in protecting their wealth so that they can have services they pay for.
Earlier, Dr. Patricia Achano Kiria, the Deputy IGG, warns that those who fail to declare will be caught by the long arm of the law.
Under the Act, failure to declare, false declaration, and discriminatory declaration are breaches of the code that attract heavy penalties upon successful prosecution before the Leadership Code Tribunal.
In 2016, the IGG launched the online declaration system with the objective of having an efficient and effective declaration system to support the leaders register and declare their incomes, assets and liabilities as a constitutional mandate to eliminate corruption and ensure transparency and accountability. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Uganda Police Force has expressed commitment to curb the rampant insecurity in Sebei sub-region practiced by the Karamojong warriors who raid some of Sebei areas, loot properties and kill the locals. The commitment has been revealed by the Assistant Inspector of Police, Major General Kasigazi Atomuseme, during monitoring of police performance in Sebei sub-region.
The Deputy IGP Major General Tumusime Kasigazi has expressed police's readiness to avert all attacks by the Koromojong warriors who terrorize parts of Sebei sub-region. Speaking to the media shortly after a closed security meeting with police and other organs at St. No's Ark Hotel in Kapchara district, Major General Kasigazi revealed the force is set to encounter all subversive activities by the Koromojong warriors.
We are now going to put more forces, UPDF and UPF, in some of these areas to ensure that the people are safe and secure, which we guarantee the people of Kapchora, the general Sebei region, that we will not allow the Kajongs again to come into this region and destabilize it.
During his monitoring on police performance in Sebei sub-region, Major General Kasigazi also cited corruption as the substantive challenge to police force, but asserted that they have established all measures required to root out corrupt elements in the force.
It's taking action against the officers who are involved in corruption. Our strategy is to make it very expensive, very costly for one to engage in corruption. Once you engage in corruption, you will face the law. Possibly you will be dismissed from the force. But we can no longer tolerate corruption in the force. It has killed the force, not only the force, but also other people in this country. Corruption is eating society, but we cannot tolerate it in a security force like police.
Major General Kasigazi says the force is building a relationship with the public to ensure security in the country, adding that community policing is the only strategy embarked on by police to guarantee peace and harmony among Ugandans.
We bring it to the public to know that they can do more for their security than leaving it to the security forces like police. Because once we engage them and they do what is required, crime can reduce in society.
The Deputy IGP is on his country monitoring of police performance in different regions.
In other activities, 144 Uganda Police Force officers are in Somalia to support the Somalia Police Force under the African Union Peace Support Operation. The officers will provide protection of key government installations and specialized training to the Somalia Force. This is the 11th contingent, taking over from the 10th that concluded its operations in Somalia.
Police have deployed a new contingent of its personnel to serve under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia. 144 officers arrived in Mogadishu and were received by senior ATMIS police officers. These have joined 16 other officers who arrived in advance. The formed police unit will work alongside other contingents and individual police officers to provide operational support and capacity building to the Somali police force. This is the 11th contingent to be deployed to Somalia by the Uganda Police in support of the ongoing African Union Peace Support Operation.
This outgoing unit, alongside their counterparts from the other FPU contributing countries of Ghana, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone, performed creditably well, and we hope that the incoming Uganda FPU 11 will take over from the outgoing with equal enthusiasm.
The Deputy Contingent Commander of the newly deployed FPU contingent, Assistant Superintendent of Police Julian Asasira, says the personnel are prepared to support Somali Police Force to implement the mission's mandate.
We are well trained. We've undergone mandatory pre-deployment training of 6 months, and in that we've acquired a lot of skills.
Under the ATMIS police mandate, the FPUs provide operational support, including protection of key government installations, providing escort duties for individual police officers, VIP protection to visiting delegates, and conducting joint patrols. The IPOs are tasked with providing specialized training, advising and monitoring the Somali police force. Uganda is one of the ATMIS police contributing countries, including Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Sierra Leone and Zambia. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
UBC Lunchtime News. The Ministry of Health will support from the U.S. government have launched the Check Now HIV AIDS Self Testing services, targeting over 30,000 university youth in 8 pilot public and private universities in the country. The new service, which targets to reduce HIV AIDS prevalence by 50% by the year 2030, was launched by the Health Minister, Dr. Ruth Acheng, and the American Ambassador to Uganda, Natalie Brown, at Serena Conference Center in Kampala.
The Ministry of Health, in partnership with some private health sector providers, have decided to take the HIV/AIDS fight to the youth by targeting university youths in institutions of higher learning. Under this program, codenamed Check Now, Know Your HIV Status Now through HIV Self Testing, the ministry will be working with an American-based Abbott company, LifeCare Diagnostics Uganda, with support from the American government. Presiding over the launch at Serena Conference Center in Kampala, the Health Minister, Dr. Ruth Acheng, said that the effectiveness of the new kits has been verified by the Uganda Virus Research Center and will go a long way in offering confidentiality in the HIV testing services.
The higher institutions of learning are easier to access, number one, because you access students in large numbers. Number two, they reach out to very many of their own peers at the same time. However, subsequently, when we have the products in large quantities in country, we'll also encourage other peers in the community, the people living with AIDS within the communities, other CBOs, to also distribute door to door. What about false negative?
The American Ambassador to Uganda, Natalie Brown, and the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, commended the new service since it takes 15 minutes only for someone to get the results.
The recent successful effort to combat Ebola in Uganda is a powerful reminder of the importance of providing health care for all. When the outbreak began last September, time was of the essence.
This self-testing drive, which is being launched today, is recommended and supported by WHO, but also fully supported by the Ministry of Health.
The head of commercial operations with LifeCare Diagnostics, Andrew Bunya, said that though the program is free to students now, it will be rolled out to the general public at an affordable fee.
So the public can access it through public government facilities, hospitals, and the service will be free of charge. As a partner, a private player, we want to partner with the chain of pharmacies, and it's going to be over-the-counter sale. Anybody can walk into a pharmacy or a private diagnostic lab distributor and buy a kit, take home, test. You can even buy for your partner.
The pilot program targets 30,000 youth students in 8 selected public and private universities of Makerere, Mubs, Chambogo, Nkozi, Ndeje, Nkumba, Kampala International University, and Uganda Christian University, Mukono. So far, 10,000 students have already assessed the kits, 38% of whom tested for HIV for their first time. Bella Masangano and Juko Colin for UBC.
Well, that is something to ponder about as you live life. Environmental activists have asked government to expedite the release of the report findings of last year's survey of Bogoma Forest Reserve. It is hoped that once released, the bickering of who owns the prime land in the Forest Reserve of Bogoma will not only quell the existing bad blood between claimants and National Forestry Authority, but spell out whether it is given up for sugarcane growing or conserved to harness her rich biodiversity. These remarks were aired during the ongoing 320-kilometer walk from Chikube to Kampala.
Environmental activists participating in the ongoing 320-kilometer walk from Chikube to Kampala have described the rate at which Bogoma Central Forest Reserve is being degraded. The lead worker, Geoffrey Ayen, together with a section of environmentalists, witnessed massive forest cover loss in the forest reserve escalated by tree cutting and charcoal burning.
I notice on our way as we walk here, every young man walks with a panga in his hand. And you ask yourself, what is this panga for? This is action.
Environmentalists contend that with the heavy industrialization activities happening in Bunyoro region, following the discovery of oil reserves, efforts to protect a natural forest reserve like Bogoma should be heightened.
This forest is very important to all these activities because this is the only forest that will absorb the carbon emission that will come out of the oil industry and then the industries that will be set around this region.
I'm happy that there is an effort that is being put in place to conserve this forest. But at the same time, I'm also very concerned that the forest is being degraded at a very alarming rate. And I think it is within the mandate of government to make sure that this forest is conserved, not only for our generation, but also for the generations to come.
National Forestry Authority Sector Manager Chisinde Alex Obonyo admit that they have to some extent not acted accordingly, but apportion blame on higher authorities. Obonyo states that, following a series of legal battles between the National Forestry Authority and Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, the government is yet to pronounce itself on whether or not Bogoma Forest should be conserved.
In 2020, the Cabinet gave a directive to Minister of Lands and Minister of Water and Environment to open Bogoma Forest boundary totally to ascertain whether the area claimed by Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, which has been leased to Hoima Sugar, is inside Bogoma Forest or is outside. Indeed, Minister of Lands came, they concluded the boundary opening in September last year. Now, up to now, we people on ground, we don't know where the report is, don't know where the report has reached. Now, since the report is not yet out, all the claimants are using the area they claim. Because when we arrest their people, they say, how sure are you this is not my land? Can you justify that this is not my land? The surveyors, when we say but the boundary, the pillars is there, it was surveyed and found you're inside. Then they challenge you that where is the report? What shows that I'm in or out? So they're all basing on that report.
It is against this background that environmentalists now want the government to act soonest.
Looking at our national forest estate, it's being depleted left, right and center. And what is it that we can do? I think it is government that can mobilize us to do whatever we can to make sure that we conserve our forests.
We are not going to give up until this effort bears some fruit.
For the meantime, self-proclaimed resilient environmentalists have embarked on a rigorous reforestation drive while they are planting an assortment of tree species in an effort to restore the lost tree cover in the region.
We encourage other people to come up and also do the same in terms of conservation and restoring the environment.
Shaidat Nasaku, Dokas Kimono, UBC News.
Analysts in education say that the development of a nation is measured by the number of its literate persons. In Masindi District, education is spearheaded by young people who, after returning to school, have returned to spearhead development.
After every end of the education cycle, the onus is to transform society. Most areas remain backward due to lack of individuals who can apply their education and skill. Uganda's literacy rate is 79%, although most people fall out of school and life ends. Edema John Bosco dropped out of a village school in Senior 4 and returned 25 years later. He has now graduated.
I thank the Lord for this day today. It is a wonderful day to me. I call it wonderful because I dropped out of school about 30 years ago. 25 years later, after leaving Senior 4, I decided to go back to university education. How did I make it? I did not do HSC. I applied and I went and did aptitude examination using my Senior 4 certificate. I was the only one who passed the aptitude test. Me, I decided to apply for Bachelors of Commerce. Bachelors of Commerce is at 42, of course.
Edema is employed with Kinyara Sugar Works in Masindi district and has been innovative at community level, supporting schools through Belu Uganda's HIFE and Before to support learners pursue education.
Benefits I got from the university. One of the course units is called business law. You learn about formation of companies. There's also entrepreneurship where you learn about project planning and management. So when I learned all those, I came to put them to use. I decided to form a charitable organization called the Andeka Integrated Foundation, which has benefited from the same knowledge. Part of the project was renovate the classrooms.
The young man has been very enthusiastic in working for the betterment of the community. At the same time, he's a director for BIFO, one of the organizations that helps the community in sustainable livelihood. He's spearheading a scholarship program for the young one. We have around 41 children being sponsored by Beru community.
Of activities are taking place in this school. All these activities are being spearheaded by our beloved chairperson, Mr. Edema John Bosco, and he has been so innovative in changing the environment of the school. Also put for us a staff quarters that is accommodating 12 teachers.
In senior 3 class, I finished my P7, but I was not able to succeed and go ahead. So I got some tips through Mr. Edema John Bosco, who tried to help me in my studies. As per now, I'm happy that I'm supposed to continue with my studies.
The purpose of education is to transform society, although poverty has failed many to pursue education. Aviana Francisco, UBC News.
Well, with the Aviana Francisco story, we set off a breather and return with more news. Do keep it right here.
Transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
sent transport to the wrong person? Here's how to reverse it with MTN mobile money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
Good to have your company once again. Thank you for keeping it UBC. More news this afternoon. Ugandan authorities have intercepted 2 trucks containing illicit lead battery scrap destined for neighboring Kenya, barely 2 months after the state emphasized a ban on exporting the lead scrap. The 2 trucks' registration numbers KCL 555P and KCB 9023X contained illicit lead scrap reportedly belonging to a Chinese company, lead located in Mbalala Mukono, and are being parked at Malaba Way Bridge.
The Deputy Resident District Commissioner Tororo, Albert Amula, has confirmed that the battery-loaded trucks were impounded following a directive from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives to implement the ban on exporting lead scrap.
Government allows people to export the raw materials for making batteries. One, our factories won't have materials to make the batteries. Secondly, if they don't have the materials to make the batteries, that means these factories are going to close. And in closing, government will be losing taxes. Secondly, employment. People will be unemployed since there will not be any material for them to work and to be employed by those respective factories.
They are now parked at the Way Bridge and the suspects are to be taken to court.
Because have been impounded, they are in at the Way Bridge, and I think in the coming days they will be presented in court because we have them in our hands. So the next course of action is their presentation in court.
Amla Albert warned those violating the directive will be thoroughly investigated and arrested, including the truck owners' dealers. He added that exporting lead scrap creates a scarcity of raw materials for the local manufacturers, which lead to closure of businesses in Uganda and decline in revenues.
Employment. People will be unemployed since there will not be any material for them to work and to be employed by those respective factories. As the security team in Tororo district, we are working together with URA, our law enforcement agencies.
A multi-agency team is currently handling the interception of the truck ferrying the scrap batteries to neighboring countries. Uganda Revenue Authority, in partnership with other agencies, adopted an intelligence-based enforcement approach where they gather intelligence before striking. The scrap allegedly was transported from Leader Factory in Mbalala Mukono. Local battery manufacturing industries reportedly face a scarcity of raw materials to support their production processes. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives banned exportation of raw materials with effect from 2021 financial year to boost value addition on all raw materials before exporting them. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, Ugandans, especially youth, have been encouraged to embrace farming as a way of earning a living and fighting unemployment. The Executive Director of African Agribusiness Incubators Network, Professor Ariho Alex, was speaking at a launch of Sustainable Youth Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises through urban farming in Mbarara City, aimed at supporting youth to create employment opportunities.
Agriculture experts have come up with different projects that are to help the youth in urban centers to practice farming.
Water is pumped for us to move from here, then to the hill and back, and then the community engagement.
The Executive Director of African Agribusiness Incubators Network in Uganda, Professor Ariho Alex, expressed dissatisfaction over the reluctance shown by the unemployed, yet they have available land for farming.
We are looking at opportunities for young people to be able to feed the cities, and by feeding the cities, they should be able either to offer a service or product. And in so doing, they are creating employment, they are creating jobs on their own, and that is very, very critical for us as a country, because that rhymes very well with the Polish development model, with Vision 2040, and again it rhymes very well with the African African Union Agenda 2063, that is looking at economic transformation.
During the launching of a program called Sustainable Youth Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, through urban farming, Ariho encouraged youth and Ugandans at large to always engage in urban farming as a way of earning a living.
So what the program is doing now through incubation is to avail these opportunities, these incentives and benefits to the youth. And for example, we are here with the chairman of Mbarara District Traders Association, Mr. Simon, and he was able to say, look, the youth can be given space to market their product. So if they have space to market their product, then that's an opportunity for them.
Sam Gadi Tukamshaba, the project coordinator, says urban farming helped many youths in the region.
The youth can use small land in town setting because we are looking at horticulture, where you can do tower farming, where they can plant vegetables on the veranda, they can plant vegetables in tires, old tires that are wasted anywhere in town, but also the rabbits, for instance, a youth who is starting a rabbit unit needs a small space.
The chairperson, Mbarara City Traders Muijoka Simon, pledges to cooperate with African Agribusiness Incubators Network to see that many youth can be trained about job creation.
So this is an opportunity for them at least to know how to utilize their compounds at home, how to become innovative, to see that at least from the agriculture that is set up in the whole country can be of importance to them to make a living. Much as they don't have those big pieces of land, that they still can understand how to utilize the ones they have so that they can at least have something in their pockets.
So this is what about.
Now, right on to sports this Friday. Uganda Athletics Federation has become the latest to suffer because of the current situation of Mandela National Stadium, Nambole.
The delayed completion of refurbishment works at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, continue to hurt, with Uganda Athletics Federation the latest victim and has cancelled the second national. The delayed completion of refurbishment works at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, continue to hurt, with Uganda Athletics Federation the latest victim and has cancelled the second national trial earlier scheduled for this weekend, and this was meant to be a qualifier to global events like the Olympics.
We have cancelled the first UF trials, and simply because we did not have any standard track to use for those trials. As Uganda now, we cannot go to some grass tracks and cause the athletes to try to qualify from there. They cannot, because they are not even recognized fields. You cannot be sure about those fields. So we needed a standard track. And in a low altitude here, the only standard track we have been having is Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, which is under renovation. And while they are doing the renovation, we felt we could still use the warm-up area. It is a track, it's a standard track. But for this first trial, when my organizing secretary went to Nambole and checked at that warm-up area, they found that in certain areas, there's a big trench that has been made by the contractors as they are doing their work.
But despite that deterrent, activities at the Athletics Federation have continued, with a team dispatched to Tanzania for the Under-18 and Under-20 East African Championship. 10 athletes, including Yeko Bentalin, Felista Chekwemoe, Kibet Alan, Joyce Avako and Asha Babuona will be under coaches Justin Baiga and Latigo Kasim.
The team is ready. We started way back in January 9th. We ended the camp on 28th. It's only 3 people who are not in the team. They were preparing for the cross country, whereby the boys were denied their visa. So we decided to put them on this team so that they are not losing their hope.
Yeah, we have been training way long back from last year, but as this year began, they had put for us a camp. We started on 9th to 28th January. So we have really been working hard so that we can make it in these coming competitions. So as me personally, I feel I'm real fit for it. We are good as a team and we are well to go as Team Uganda.
John Barnes, Centum, YBC News.
Thank you so much for watching and following. More news updates will be coming your way later on in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Sandra Kahonde, and greetings from the team behind the scene. God bless you.
Quarter-final match between last year's runners-up Uganda and the 7-time champions Nigeria at the 2023 Total Energies Cup under 20 Africa Cup of Nations. Uganda with some promising signs over the minutes, but when the opening goal came, it will be they who went behind. A cruel opening goal for them, but particularly their left-back. Ibrahim Juma helpless as the ball bounced back off the post into his leg. It gave Nigeria the lead into the second half. They continued a similar manner after the restart. Ibrahim Mohamed, who was influential having that shot that led to the first goal, coming close again in the second. Uganda tried to find an equaliser. The captain there, Isma Mugaluzi, with an effort that drifted wide. In truth, they never really threatened the Nigerian goal. Nigeria had a few chances of their own to double their lead. That one from range. Then the man of the match, Abel Uguche, the centre-back, with a very optimistic effort from a free kick. Mohamed coming a little closer from a closer range free kick. Late yellow card for Rogers Tarach.
Need to just do something meaningful further downfield, maybe here! Oh yes! Bukayo Saka buries another beauty! This kid is almost unstoppable. 11th of the season, and it's his 50th Premier League goal involvement as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Saka. Jorginho back to Odegaard, just couldn't quite keep his footing. Excellent challenge from Saka, play on! Martinelli into the corner! But the assistant's flag is up.
Yeah.
Close?
Very close. That's going to be tight. If he's on the same line of with the ball, then he's onside.
Oh, it stands! VAR helps Arsenal out. It took it away against Brentford. It's delivered here. Thank you very much. Zinchenko, Martinelli, nice turn. Just behind Xhaka, but still the move continues, and Boy does it. Here's Trossard. Odegaard! 3 points secured. What another mesmeric team move from the Gunners. Captain Fantastic, Martin Odegaard, slams it home. Arsenal surely going 5 points clear once more. Arsenal 3, Everton 0.
Odegaard's been excellent tonight again. The tempo, he just get involved in everything going forward.
Another great through ball. Snuck in for number 4, and it's a second for Gabriel Martinelli. It had to come. Arsenal 4, Everton 0.
Paquetá. Socek, Manchester United appealing that the ball's gone out. They stop for a moment, and they might be punished for that. Benrahma! West Ham lead at Old Trafford.
Well, it's a great finish. Was the ball out of play? That's the big question. As you said, Manchester United stop playing. Emerson finds the perfect pass, and that's an even better finish from Benrahma. Right into the far corner. Really good strike from him.
Manchester United 0, West Ham United 1.
Casemiro.
Manchester United looking for an equaliser here, and they've got it.
Well, if it's Casemiro, he will be offside. It's a lovely ball played in. And it is Casemiro. I think this will be disallowed.
And there we have confirmation. Fighting some pressure. West Ham now. Bruno Fernandes applying the pressure, and it counts. Another ball into the box that they don't defend, and I don't think the offside flag is going to come to their rescue this time. And I can't believe that this one won't count.
Well, it does look as though it could be an own goal here. Let's have another look. Does Weghorst get a touch on it? No, he doesn't. Aguirre.
Yeah, Aguirre, own goal. By Bruno Fernandes. Aguirre's only put it to Weghorst. Deflection only arrives at the feet of Garnacho. Oh, superb strike, and Manchester United have come back from a goal down to lead 2-1 in the last knockings of this 5th round FA Cup tie.
Here's the first ball played in. Rashford wasn't offside, so that's not a problem. Garnacho wasn't offside either, and when he bends the ball into the corner, it's a magnificent goal, and probably the match-winning goal from a brilliant young player.
Yeah, no reprieve for West Ham. No one in the line of the shot. And here's Fred. They've got another one. Wrapped up. West Ham beaten really by the second goal, and Manchester United are on the verge of a 3rd consecutive 3-1 win. And Manchester United are on the verge of a 3rd consecutive 3-1 win.
Especially those that follow sport like we actually do. My name is John Barnes Sentamu at the UBC studios, the auditorium, and it's where we come from with a score. I'm joined by 2 of the future of Uganda's journalism. I'll let them introduce themselves because I've got no capacity to do so.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of UBC The Score. And it's the time where we get to give you the latest in the world of sport. I'm Michael Senfuma Luandaga, and just enjoy, sit down and relax. You'll be getting Bueno Kubuino today.
How do I come from that one? To introduce myself, I am Grace Joyce Kemgisa, honored to be seated in between veterans in the sports industry. So, as Michael has said, Bueno Kubuino.
Yeah, but Grace has talked over veterans. I am the only veteran. The only thing about Michael Senfuma Luandaga is the dude that started so early. He's like the Messis of this world. There's some of us that have seen Messi play football for 30 years. You would think so. Sure. But he started early. Sure. Isn't it so?
Surely.
Surely. You're still at school when you started.
Surely. I started right after school. It was like a year after school. So I had to kick off.
Absolutely. Anyways, about the score at TBC for us, we tell you that it's the local things we talk about. There is a lot for us on the local scene. Of course, the AFCON Under-20 climaxed for us. There is basketball, there is badminton, there is sports bill, the Masazaga Buganda, and of course, many other things that will come along the way. And to set us off is, of course, the hottest story, the AFCON. Uganda is no more. There is no repeat of our last time out, progressing till the final.
Yeah, to start with this, the issue of switching coaches, because we know that Molebie Kwaso really went down with a very good team and very good tactics in the last time we were into the AFCON Under-20, and we need to tell Ugandans that this was our second time to be at this championship. But we can't forget that the opponent we had gotten enough experience in this championship, having made it 7+ times at the finals of the Under-20 championship. But Uganda was there for the second, and the switching of coaches from Molebie Kwaso to Jackson Mayanja just gives you a very big benefit of doubt.